Lola. She was a showgirl, right? Ready? Here we go. All right, good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
It's Friday once again, which means it's time for the ASBA legislative update. So let's start off real quick. We're trying to keep these short this year because Brooke yells at it if it gets too long. So Carolyn's going to recap Senate, which really we only had Senate last week. So Carolyn's going to recap Senate Ed. She's still here. She didn't leave before a week was up. She's still alive, so that's good. And she ostensibly enjoys it a little bit. So go ahead and tell us what happened last week.
So this week, two bills were passed. Senate Bill 1048 establishes a system for schools to report non-certified employees, and it requires all schools to search the system before hiring any applicants. This is similar to a current system that is used for certified teachers. And for Senate Bill 1060, this changes the way that group weights are calculated, and it increases state funding for SPED students by about $55 million.
Cool.
Good times. We liked both of those. So next week we have House Education for the first time. Just to give you a quick preview of a couple things we'll see. I'll do 2 yays, 2 nays. Starting out with the nays so we can end on a high note. Let's see. House Bill 2015, sponsored by Mr. Fillmore, would require school boards to approve any supplemental material that's used in the classroom. We are not in favor of this bill. We think it takes away the autonomy of teachers to be able to structure their school day and change curriculum based on the news and what students are interested in. We like more flexibility in our curriculum than is allowed in this bill. So we'll be opposing that one. And the other one is, what else do we not like? 2166. That's sponsored by Representative Udall. It would roll back graduation requirements for high school students. So instead of 4 years of math would be required.
2 years of math.
2 years of math, 3 years of STEM, and 3 years of science. So it would roll back 1 year of math requirements. And would require ABOR to adjust their requirements accordingly, which is not exactly the legislature's job to tell ABOR what admissions requirements are. But two good ones. 2438 would appropriate money for low-income students determined by the free and reduced lunch measure, would appropriate money for them to be able to take AP exams, which is great. And the other one is HCR 2001, which we saw last year, which is Fillmore's referral to get rid of the English-only statutes for ELL. So we're really supportive of that. It got far last time. We're hoping it'll make it across the finish line this year.
Yeah, and one note quickly on college entrance requirements. Those are the current graduation requirements are tied to the college entrance requirements that ABOR sets, as Lee said. So the bill would have the effect of rolling back 2 years of math and replacing those 2 years of math with generalized STEM credits, which could be any number of things, but then also taking the entrance requirements down to those same standards. And the concern from the university side is that students wouldn't be prepared for college level math then. So we have a concern about just making sure that students have access to college level curriculum, not only here in Arizona, but anywhere, and that could present a problem for them if they didn't go to school in Arizona. So it's just a general problem. Philosophical problem. Speaking of philosophical issues, the Senate next week will have some stuff on it with regard to Proposition 301 and the Classroom Site Fund. There's a couple of bills. We are looking at those currently, evaluating them. There are some issues that we see in there with regard to the technical flow of money through the Classroom Site Fund in the future. So especially in light of the most recent teacher pay installment that's coming. So we're still looking at that. The SCR that's on there would raise the sales tax from 0.6 cents to 1 cent. So it'd add another 0.4 to make 4 tenths to make it 1. So those two taken together are sort of a package, and we will we will look at that, and you will see emails on those coming up. Last thing we want to mention is the JLBC had their budget revenue forecast update this week, and they did revise the budget forecast up just a little bit. So now we're looking at about $985 million in spending possibilities for fiscal 2021. 300 of that, that's really where it went up. 300 of that being ongoing, and then 685 million being one-time revenue. That does not include accelerated district additional assistance. That costs about $135 million, so you'd have to subtract that from the 685, which we would do because we support that, as does apparently the governor, the House, and the Senate, because they all three put it in their budget proposals. So we are happy about that. That's pretty much it. We're at about a little over 5 minutes, I'm told. So we want to keep it short and sweet for you this year. None of this 10-minute stuff. So with that, I think we're going to cut it. Look for your emails and make sure that you tune in to committee on Monday. It should be interesting. So have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.